Two LMPD detectives are facing termination from the police department months after Breonna Taylor was killed in her apartment. Detectives Miles Cosgrove and Joshua Janes will have hearings with the chief of police before she finalizes those firings. Tonight, Sinaike Gebregadis is explaining the steps.
Other people reviewed these warrants. This was a team effort.
The warrants for Breonna Taylor's home was signed by Detective Joshua Janes. He's now facing termination from Louisville Metro Police Department because of it. In his letter, Chief Yvette Gentry cites violation of department policy in how he prepared the warrant and untruthfulness.
I asked him, I said, hey, did you hear anything back about our target to Marcus Glover? He's like, yeah, basically that they're doing an investigation on this guy for possible reversals.
That's Detective Janes explaining to investigators how he verified with Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly that packages were being sent to Taylor's home. Mattingly, who was hit in the leg and opened fire the night Taylor was killed, claimed Janes' statement isn't true.
Detective Janes got this information from Sergeant Mattingly. The conversation was overheard by Detective Janes' partner, who verified his version of what that conversation was.
In her interview with the Attorney General's office, LMPD Detective Kelly Goodlett backed Janes' claim.
Sergeant Mattingly in passing was like, sorry about the confusion, I misunderstood, but I verified he was getting packages there.
Who said that?
Sergeant Mattingly.
Told you that?
Told Josh that and I heard it.
Is there any other evidence to prove that he did have that conversation with Sergeant Mattingly?
Other than the statement she gave to the Attorney General, which verified the details of what Sergeant Janes had said, I'm not aware of any physical evidence.
The FBI's ballistics report found Detective Miles Cosgrove fired the shot that killed Breonna Taylor. His attorney declined to comment on his pre-termination notice. Clay says he and Janes will meet with Chief Gentry on Monday. The FOP says once those meetings happen and the terminations are finalized, the attorneys for the detectives will have 10 days to request a hearing from the Police Merit Board. It'll function much like a trial. The board will review evidence and each side will be able to present testimonies, and from there, a decision will come down. If the attorneys do not agree with the Police Merit Board's decision, the FOP says they have the option to file an appeal in Jefferson County Circuit Court, something James' attorney says he plans to do if it comes down to that. Reporting in downtown Louisville, Sinaike Gebregadis, WHES 11 News.
And tonight, we're hearing from National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump, along with his co-counselors Sam Aguiar and Lanita Baker, on the expected firings. They say, in part, the warrant executed in the Breonna Taylor case was based on lies. Yesterday, the Louisville Metro Police Department finally admitted it. The statement goes on to say, Breonna and her family have been denied justice over and over again, first by LMPD and then by the Attorney General. It is time for that to stop. And it stops with the arrests and convictions of Detective Joshua Janes and Detective Miles Cosgrove. The third officer associated with the Taylor case, Brett Hakeson, is still fighting his termination. We went through a pre-termination hearing, as Cosgrove and Janes are about to do, but his firing was for violating procedure when he blindly fired multiple rounds into Taylor's apartment on March 13th. Hakeson has filed an appeal and is fighting to get his job back. You might be wondering about the FBI's investigation into the night Breonna Taylor was killed, and yes, it is still going on. FBI officials say the pandemic has caused a bit of a slowdown because they don't have the typical easy access to federal grand juries, but they say they're still trying to be committed to figuring out if any federal laws were broken. As of right now, no officers have been charged for killing Breonna Taylor. If you want to get all caught up on the details of the Breonna Taylor case, just text Taylor to 502-582-7290 and we'll send you the latest information right to your phone.